everybody, this is Angela, and you're listening to 5 Picks and a Chick featuring El Gato. This is the podcast that gives you 5 NFL picks for people who love football and friendly wagering. Today we are joined by our special guest, Alma. Thanks for being with us today, Alma.
Happy to be here.
Yay, and I hear it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
It's my birthday. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I do remember the 21st night of September. I don't own the rights to that, but I do remember that night.
Yeah.
Well, last week I went 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie, and you went 3 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. Not too bad, El Gato.
Well, we pick some games and they turn out the way they do, and we wish that we could win all of them, but pushed one. But it's a new week with new picks, and we'll see if we can give our listeners something to chew on.
I was really disappointed in my bonus bet pick, so with the Cowboys, but oh well. Who would have thought that they would have a big offensive game?
Well, look who the Jets had at quarterback. Giving away, 4 turnovers?
Yeah.
The opposing team's going to put some points up when the quarterback does that. That's for sure.
Well, my first pick is going to be Tennessee plus 3.5 at Cleveland Browns. Both teams are hard-nosed defensive teams that like to run the ball on offense. Not only did Browns lose their running back in Chubb, which was a terrible injury, but they are on short rest after playing Monday night. This should be a tight, low-scoring game, so I'll take Tennessee getting the points. What are your thoughts on this game, Alma?
Well, I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to take the Browns by 3.5. But yes, I understand both teams have players that are questionable, but given that the Browns are playing at home and they're 1-0 at home, and Titans are 0-1 when they play away. So I'm going to take the Browns on this one.
All right. And what are your thoughts on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, I expect this to be a tough game on both sides of the ball, Angela. Both quarterbacks are struggling right now. Tannehill with the Titans, and Deshaun just had an awful game the other night. We'll see if he has a bounce-back game. We'll see. But, that Browns defense, they've only given up 1 offensive touchdown in the last 2 games, which is going to cause problems, I think, for Tannehill. Also, Derrick Henry, for the Titans, he really just hasn't gotten things rolling so far this year. Maybe he will. Maybe he will this game, but against that front 4 of the Browns, it's going to be tough. On this one, with it going to be with both offenses going to play the conservative game, I'm thinking I'm going to go with the under 40.5 on this. I think it's going to be a field position game, run heavy. I think it will be a field goal game, but I'm gonna count on both teams low scoring on this one. Under 40.5 is going to be my pick on this one.
All right. Well, my second pick is going to be New Orleans plus 2 at Green Bay. Both teams have gotten off to good starts. Saints are 2-0, and Green Bay would be 2-0 if it wasn't for a 1-point loss last week. Green Bay did get outgained by 220 yards last week and are facing a top New Orleans Saints defense. I'll take the Saints plus 2. What are your thoughts on this game, Alma?
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on this one. I picked the Saints. They've, even though that they've barely pulled off 2 wins, Jordan Love, the Green Bay quarterback, still has the jitters, has 100 less passing yards than Carr. And we all know yards equal touchdowns. So I'm with you on this one. I'm going Saints.
All right. What are your thoughts, El Gato?
I'm going to take the other side of that one. I'm going to go with Green Bay at -2 playing at home. The Saints are going to be minus their number 1 and number 2 running backs, so they're down to 3 and 4 on the depth chart. But, Carr does have some good weapons at the wide receiver spot, 3 good wide receivers that can catch the ball and run after the catch as well. I'm hoping the Green Bay secondary can keep up with them. The only reason I'm going to go with Green Bay at -2, I think they're going to try like hell not to lose 2 straight. They're going to be at home. I think that's a 3-point home field advantage there. So I will take Green Bay -2. I'm thinking the Green Bay quarterback will do just enough to pull out the win and the cover on this one. Green Bay gets their star running back in Jones, and they'll probably get their wide receiver Watson back as well. They moved him from not playing or not participating or not available to questionable, so that's always a good sign.
All right. Alma, do you have a third pick for us?
I sure do. So I am going to take the Dolphins by 6.5. This is mainly what I'm going off of here is they are going up against the Broncos, who the Broncos are one of two teams that are 0-2 at home, the other one being the Patriots. And I think definitely it's not lack of effort on Broncos' part. It's just bad luck. But it's not a good way for them to start off the year. And unfortunately, them playing in Miami against the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are going to be able to pull this off by a touchdown.
All right. Do you have an opinion on this game, El Gato?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Alma on this one. Denver is just really struggling on the both defensively and offensively. But they did almost pull one out last Sunday. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch that game, but Wilson brought them back and almost pulled it off there in regulation. But the team is struggling. Tua, top-rated quarterback, passing the ball well. They're going to be without Waddle, of course, but they have a good offensive line. They have a good running back that can move the ball. On this one, I'm just going to, with it being -6.5 Dolphins, I'm just going to go with the better quarterback. I think Tua is one score better than Wilson. So I'll go with the Dolphins at -6.5.
All right. I'm going with you as well on this game, Alma. Denver has 2 heartbreaking losses at home by a combined 3 points and now go on the road against the Dolphin team whose offense looks unstoppable. And their defense is slowly improving. This will be the Dolphins' home opener, and they should be able to win this game in front of their home crowd by 7 to 10 points. I'm just hoping Tua stays healthy.
Yep.
All right. El Gato, you got a 4th and 5th pick for us?
Yeah, I've got a couple of picks to go over. I've got this first one is Seattle, Carolina. Seattle at -6.5. Seattle had a really good showing against the tough Lions team last week. They almost gave it up there at the end, but they showed some resiliency both offensively and defensively. Seattle can score the ball. They just have to get their defense right a little bit better. And what better way than facing the Carolina Panthers, who been struggling both offensively and on the defensive side as well. Bryce Young has been missing a couple of days of practice this week, so Dalton may go in there and play. And Carolina lost another a linebacker, one of their team leaders. They lost their starting quarterback they lost their starting cornerback in week 1. Now they lose their starting linebacker. I see Seattle being able to move the ball pretty handily on this one. I think -6.5 is a good spread for them. Seattle -6.5.
All right. What is your opinion on this game, Alma?
Yeah, same thing here. Seattle by 6.5. The Panthers QB Young, sat out of practice, I believe, yesterday and today with that ankle injury, and he's questionable for Sunday. They've had a rough start. Unfortunately, I think it will continue. It's kind of, and not that Seattle is that much of a better team. It's just kind of the worst of the worst, right? And I think, so that's why I'm going Seattle 6.5.
All right. Well, I'm going with you on this pick as well. Seattle -6.5. I think Young is probably going to be out on Sunday, and it will be Dalton playing in his place. Seattle got its groove back with an overtime win last week at Detroit, and they are coming back home against a weak Carolina team playing with the backup quarterback, more than likely. So I am going to go Seattle -6.5. Do you have a 5th pick for us, El Gato?
Yeah, I have another pick. I've got 49ers and Giants. The Giants are really struggling this year. They got really manhandled by the Cowboys in week 1. They had a nice comeback, almost lost against the Cardinals week 2, but they're facing the 49ers, the top offensive and defensive unit, one of the top teams in the NFL. And, of course, the Giants have lost the starting running back in Barkley. They've lost, they're going to be without their starting left tackle, their starting left guard. I think Bosa has a big game for the 49ers, the defensive end for the 49ers and, the rest of that defensive front. I really don't see the Giants scoring a bunch. I'm going with the under 44.5. 49ers have had back-to-back, almost 30-plus games, if not 30-plus games. I think they put that much on the board. Now the question is, can they hold the Giants to less than 14? I think they can, which will then make that under at 44.5 possible. So I'll go with the 49ers putting up a bunch of points and holding the Giants to not a whole lot of points. 49ers at under 44.5. What do y'all think?
All right. What are your thoughts, Alma?
Okay, well, I'm going the opposite way. I think it's going to go over the 44.5. You're right. 49ers have put up 30 points in the last 2 games alone. Now, all Cowboys fans know the Giants failed to show up to their first game, but they did pull off a win with 31 points last week. That being said, both teams have given up over 300 yards combined between passing and rushing. So I definitely think this game will go over the 44.5.
All right. Well, I really don't have an opinion on the over-under, so I'm going to take the Niners minus 10 against the Giants, of course. San Francisco in their home opener should be way too much for the Giants to handle, as the Giants looked horrible in their first 6 quarters of the season, getting outscored 61-0 in that span. That's an incredible... Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm taking...
That one hurt.
Yeah, I am taking the hot team in the Niners. So I'm taking Niners minus 10.
That's a good pick. I like that. I like that one, too. I was torn between the spread or the over-under, but, I mean, either one, but I went with the under. That's a good pick at minus 10.
I was torn as well because, honestly, I think the Niners can put up that many points just themselves alone, but I just thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and go with the spread. So
very good.
Any final thoughts, El Gato?
No, just looking forward to another week 3 of the NFL, and this season it took. We've talked this. We've mentioned this a few times. Took a long time to get here. Now it's just starting to move along, isn't it?
Yeah.
Week 3 already.
Yeah. Already.
Yeah. So. Just looking forward to some good football. There'll be some football on tonight, so something to do.
Yes, absolutely. They've been interesting games, though, as well. So especially like the Giant comeback, that was crazy. But, so there have been some good, interesting games. Any final thoughts, Alma?
No, I'm just ready for some Thursday night football on my birthday.
Sounds good. I hope you have a good one. Well, thank you for listening to 5 Picks and a Chick. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Also, hit the subscribe and like button on our YouTube channel. You can find our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast, or ask Alexa to play 5 Picks and a Chick. Thank you again to Alma for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure to join us next week. Our guest picker will be Rudy. As always, thank you to El Gato for being part of 5 Picks and a Chick. 1, 2, 3, beret!